Welcome to our show, everyone, and today we have a very special guest with us. This is Tech Today Show, and this program is courtesy of Kenya Society for the Blind. But before I introduce my guest, let me introduce myself first. This is Chris Mololo, our sign language interpreter is Wanja Ngede, and on today's episode, we are talking about enhancing accessibility and video production. And generally, we'll be talking about video production techniques for persons with disabilities. And the guest that I am with today is not new to our screens, is my colleague, a friend. We've been co-hosting together the Sports City show, and I didn't know uh, he understands technology that much, and I just decided to invite him to this program so that we can have this discussion together. Welcome, Felix, and thank you for accepting my invitation. And as you introduce yourself, you can tell us when and for how long have you interacted with technology?
I'm so glad to be here today. I'm Felix Makona, a journalist as well as a technician. I know much of technology. I've done computer technology, I've done IT, and so many other courses that are related to technology, and also video editing, and many of them have come through I myself being confident that I want to know this thing, and I have that determination that if I want to know something, nothing can hinder me from knowing that thing. So that's what pushes me to continue learning.
It's true. By the way, sometimes he even sets the cameras here in studio, and it's very well to always be willing and ready to learn new things every day. So you mean you've interacted with technology for some time?
Yeah, since I was in high school, I used to do computer studies up to Form 4, whereby I learned even programming. I know many techniques in computer. I can even, the computer itself, I can dismantle it and again put it together again, because it is just a matter of thinking and trying to evaluate more about what you learned in class and put it into action. I can even repair things like, let's say, a woofer, a TV somewhere where there's nothing much to do with the, let's say the motherboard is not functioning well. I can try to modify it. I can also work in a cyber, can also do many things online, just because I wanted to know how to do them.
All right, and I called you to discuss about accessibility and video production. Here we are talking about technology, and especially for persons with disabilities. How much do you know about this topic?
Yeah, what I can say, the current technology has improved so much that it incorporates persons with disability, that they also understand what is going on the social media, on the mainstream media, and maybe anything that concerning video production. There are some things that we have to put in place, like the bottom ticker tape lines, so that a person that is deaf has to understand how the video is communicating and what is the meaning. Because when you put there the bottom ticker tape, the captions, you find that it will be easier for them to understand the language or the topic that is being discussed. And in other words, it makes them know that this thing has been discussed, and it helps them in understanding or capturing the topic, because you know, a deaf person cannot hear.
Yeah.
So even if you have your television on and you put there a lot of sound, or you increase the volume, he may still not hear or understand what you are saying.
Yeah.
But because the person has been taught how to read, how to write,
Yeah.
and you know, this can help him understand the topic directly, even if he doesn't listen or hear what you are saying, but he will know through the captions and the bottom ticker text.
Okay. Thank you for joining us once again, and I want us now to dive in to the today's topic. And you can start by telling us why accessibility in video production is so important.
Yeah, the first thing I would say, we are not created the same. Everyone has been created in his own. Let's say it is in the God's image, but we can say God has a lot of images, because no one has seen him personally. So when a person is created this way, another person doesn't hear, another person doesn't see, another person doesn't talk. You know, these are all human beings, and the world of today has made us to incorporate them or to make them part of the world by bringing techniques that can help these people go or learn through the television, the social media, and many other online programs. Because in one way or another,
Yeah.
these people, we cannot leave them behind, because they're part of us, and in such a way that for them to feel they are part of us, we have to have accessibility techniques that can be put in place to make sure that these people not only are part of us just because we are living in the world, but they are part of us in interactions, socially, and both economically.
They feel included.
They feel included even in politics,
Yeah.
because these people could be having ambitions. They could be having ambitions maybe to vie for a seat, but that information doesn't reach out to them.
Yeah.
So the world today has brought in some techniques that we can bring these people to the real world, where they are not left behind, they are with us as we move forward.
Okay. That's a great point. And what are some key production techniques that can enhance accessibility? Because you've mentioned that we have those techniques, and we want to know them. So what are some of those techniques?
I will start by saying that the first one is sound technique. The sound in production has to be so clear that a blind person can hear it very well and internalize what it is said. You know, the sound or the voice is a key aspect of production, and when it is incorporated in production, it helps those that maybe at some time voiceover, let's use it for example, voiceover is used to maybe give a clear in-depth analyzation of the course of action to a person who doesn't see, but he is capable of hearing. That is a deaf person. A blind, not a blind person. So a blind person, the sound technique has to be good. On the other side, there's a person that is deaf, but he is seeing. He is deaf, but he is capable of seeing. So that is a person that we will have to integrate techniques like bottom ticker tapes, captions. Let's say it is a video, a picture, or anything, let's say, that is online. When you put there a caption, this person, the caption will first explain what is happening in the picture, when was the picture taken, who took the picture, and why is it posted online. The person will understand, because he doesn't hear. He doesn't, the only thing he uses is he is seeing. So when he sees and he sees the caption, he is able to internalize this thing happened when, this thing is from which department, or from which, let's say it is politics, from which politician. If it is sports, let's say Ronaldo has done something, Messi has done something in football, Kipchoge, many others, and those athletes, when he looks on the caption, he will be able to know this person did this and this. The other thing is sign language interpretation.
Yes.
Good sign language interpretation, like how our interpreter is doing, you find that that will help that deaf person to know that this video or clip is about something. Let's say if it is about politics, the interpretation will match the politics side. If it is about football, if it is about technology that we are speaking, their interpretation will meet the standards of the interpreting values, because the deaf person has been taught how the signs go and what they mean. So he will just follow the signs, and he or she will be able to understand what is being said in that conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned 3 techniques. If we can just recap, you said the sound technique.
Yeah.
You also mentioned the captions or the bottom ticker text.
Yeah.
And then you also talked about sign language interpretation.
Yeah.
And these techniques sound very effective. And I'd like you to share any specific examples where these methods have been successfully implemented. Because I'm sure you know of somewhere that they've tried these methods and they've succeeded.
Yeah, I will start with our own. This is the Science TV.
Yes.
Science TV uses sign language specifically to communicate to the deaf. It also uses voice or voicing of the scripts to make sure that the blind will listen to the voice and know what is happening in the world. So those two that is being used in our television means that first we have incorporated the person's ability, and second we have brought them near to the world, that they understand what is going on in the current world. So that's a good example. Another example is YouTube. When you go to YouTube, almost on the bottom line, you'll find that there is an icon that is having a capital C and a small c. When you click that button or that icon, you'll find that the words will start displaying on your screen. Yeah, they will describe what the person is speaking. That was technique was put there to make sure that the person with disability who cannot hear has an access to the social media. So that's on the case of social media. Another one is the likes of Twitter, Facebook, let's say all or many of these of social media platforms. You'll find there captions. When a picture is posted, let's say our president, Honorable William Samoei Ruto, you will find there they are put there something like words explaining what is happening in the picture, what is the cause of the picture, where was the president during that time, and that will help a person maybe who doesn't hear, or if it is a video that is recorded. That caption itself will explain to a person with disability that this is what is happening in this clip and this is what has been happening. So it helps them keep up to date with the current world.
Okay. I know you are not blind, but I just want to ask you this question to test if you know. So, here at work, I always tell people that I watch the TV programs and even movies on these sites like Netflix and the others, and they ask me, how do you watch? So how do producers or even the video editors make sure that a blind person is able to watch a movie and understand how it goes?
Yeah, a blind person, they will specifically use sound. That sound, they will make sure that the sound is clear and the sound is polished in a manner that it is, when it hits the ear of a blind person, he or she directly understands what is going on. Because since a blind person doesn't see, he will use the voice or the sound in the video to internalize what is happening. It is like listening to a radio.
Yes.
When you listen to a radio, you have to create an imagination in your head that if they are talking about, let's say, I'm sorry to say, an accident,
Yeah.
and they tell you 14 people have died,
Yes.
you will internalize yourself.
You have that
and
picture in your mind.
and create an imagery in your mind that these 14 people died. You will now start to think the extent of the injury, how these people died,
How that accident
how
occurred.
that the accident occurred. Of course, if they tell you it is between two matatus or three lorries collided with a matatu, you will start thinking. And when you internalize, that is, you have watched. And if it is a news update, you are with us.
Yes.
Because we have not left you behind. You just listened and you understood the game.
I remember there's a time we were with you
Yeah.
at the boss office,
Yeah.
and he was asking me, because we do the sports show together, and he was asking me, how do the blind people watch football or understand what's happening on a football pitch?
Yeah.
And I think you just explained it so well.
Yeah,
because,
it is true.
Yeah.
Because radio stations have improvised a way that they commentate football. And they bring it near to a person who is blind.
Yes.
And in any case, he or she is able to hear.
Yeah.
So if a person is not deaf and is blind, the football commentation has brought them to the current updates, or they are very well updated because they just listen to a radio, or even these online streaming platforms.
Yes.
They come with a commentator.
Yeah.
Even not even the radio only. You can put on the television, although you are not literally seeing the action on the field, but you will just keep your ear to the commentator and listen to what he is saying. If it is a goal, you will hear him celebrating a goal. You will know.
And by the way, I have an app on my phone that I normally listen to when there is a football match, and I am able to understand. Let's say there is a game playing a certain match, I'm able to understand this is this league, and these teams are the teams playing. This is the lineup. This is how the players are playing the game, and following that commentary, of course you are able to understand. And if I may add something, and I just think you forgot this. I think they have tried to come up with audio descriptions in movies. Do you know of such things?
Yeah, those audio descriptions, they give you an insight of what is happening or what is going to happen.
Okay. And also some other things that also ensure that a blind person can understand how a movie is going on are the sound effects or the soundtracks.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
when, let's say, is something dangerous
Yeah.
happening,
Yeah.
there's that soundtrack that
Yeah.
a producer can play,
Yeah.
and you know, hey, there is danger.
Yeah.
Then when maybe let's say it's a celebration,
Yeah.
there's that soundtrack that
Yeah.
you
That a
hear
producer
and
will play.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
it is
you
true.
know that
Yeah.
this is something worth celebrating. And I think we are going to take a break. That is, if you don't have anything to add about this question before we come back and tell us how a video producer can ensure these techniques are implemented.
Yeah.
All right, we are going to take a short break. Remember, you are watching Tech Today show right here at Science TV. We are coming back in a short while. Stay with us.